Hello everybody, I'm Coco Cosmos, and it's spooky season! I am a connoisseur of movies and TV shows that are spooky, creepy, unsettling, and downright scary. To kick things off, we're starting with M. Night Shyamalan's newest thriller, Trap. It follows a regular family man trying incredibly hard to balance his double life as a serial killer who goes by the alias The Butcher. No one knows what the Butcher looks like, but the authorities got word that he would be taking his daughter to a Lady Raven concert, played by Mr. Shyamalan's daughter. So, they set a trap for him, blocked off all exits, pulls anyone who may or may not match the description of middle-aged male with child, not even middle-aged white male with child. Our main character has to navigate this while not drawing any sort of suspicion, especially from his daughter Riley. He fails at this spectacularly. Honestly, it seems like his daughter was the only one seeing how weird he was being, but genuinely didn't know what for, so she just let it be. Now, I am disappointed but not surprised by this movie. It's not awful.
Wasn't good.
It's a very mid movie. It's not unwatchable, it's completely watchable. But a lot of the things that happen don't make a lick of sense. So honestly, it's good if you don't take it serious. When I saw the trailers for it, I was excited the first 3 times. But then I kept seeing them everywhere, over and over again. You know how people hype something up so much that you get disappointed by the final product once you actually experience it for yourself? I had some of that going on. I just had this feeling that there was some overcompensation. And the ending is such bullshit, bro. The whole movie is basically counting on everyone else to be oblivious and overly trusting of random strangers. Let me show you. It opens with Riley singing along to Lady Raven's latest hit while riding with her dad Cooper. Riley's worried that they're not gonna get there soon enough, but they do, and get the perfect parking spot, no less, which is probably one of the most unbelievable parts of this movie, honestly. No way you're supposed to be running late to the concert venue of this super popular artist, and you're basically parked at the door. Really? Riley just wanted to get there early enough to get a peek at Lady Raven stepping off of her tour bus. With me being a K-pop stan and seeing how I look from this perspective, it's quite jarring to say the least. That's just some lady walking towards a door, and those people are losing their absolute minds. Oh, and if you were wondering who has a concert in the middle of the afternoon, her first show was sold out, so they just added another. This is where Cooper teaches his daughter how not to get scammed. While waiting in the line to get inside, Cooper does his fatherly check-in where we learn Riley has some beef with some girls at school. This will be referenced throughout the movie. Then we notice these guys. Not gonna lie, the music is kinda good. And look, fellow fans are doing the Lady Raven choreo. The way the camera panned here made me super nauseous. Riley starts filming them when she decides to join in, and Cooper thinks it's the cutest thing, so he films too. Pre-concert snack time, and back to the beef with the girls that was mentioned before. It's not strong beef, just Riley being excluded by some used-to-be close friends. Cooper says that they should post a picture of them together at the concert to make them jealous, but he's simply being an embarrassing dad. They go to look for their seats, where there's very noticeable cops posted up everywhere. The seats slap, and Riley is grateful.
Meant to be.
Funny that you would say that. It's kind of crazy how the venue is 75% empty, nobody is settled, and the openers decide to go on anyways. Nah, because look at all this. If they were actually trying to catch this guy, this was a terrible way to do it discreetly, because now he's super suspicious of them. This ain't regular concert security.
So what does crispy mean?
It means something is good.
Use it in a sentence.
Dude, your house is crispy.
Hooray for young people slang. Oh, concert time. Just so good. He is aggressively aware of all these smartphones, which of course means they may or may not be his downfall later. He tells Riley that he's going to the bathroom, and when she says that she doesn't want to miss anything, he makes her promise not to move an inch. Probably because he knows how dangerous the world can be firsthand. See? Look! I'm sorry, but with this swing, I would have known there was enough slack to plan an escape. More? Yeah, ain't no way they ain't drawing attention. Cue mommy issues. He runs into this woman while leaving the restroom, and it is abundantly clear that he does not wish to speak with her. She's not picking up the vibe though. He plays Dad of the Year and gets out of there. Please be serious. This shit isn't stealthy or sneaky at all. It is very noticeable. So Lady Raven is now telling a personal story about her dad and forgiveness. I want you to remember that she shared this story in front of all these people. Ballot time. And another potential suspect is being pulled. Cooper is hyper aware of his surroundings. Cooper takes Riley to get some merch while they're doing a stage transition. Riley and the girl next to her want the same shirt in the same size. Unfortunately, the sales guy says there's only one left. The girl says that she was there first and has been waiting forever, with a bit of attitude. And Cooper tells Riley to just let her have it and they can get one later. This guy, Jamie the merch booth guy, acts like he just gave thousands of dollars to charity and promises more shirts in 10 minutes. This also makes him trust Cooper enough to tell him what's up with all the cops, and even giving this man an exit route. You know what you're thinking. How was he supposed to know he was the guy they were looking for? Well, dear viewer, he wasn't supposed to tell anyone this information in the first place. Plus, they have at least a vague description of potential white male with child aged 12 to 14. Cooper knows they're looking for him now, and is trying to form a plan without worrying Riley. Bingo. Now all he needs is a distraction. Now you mean to tell me all these people didn't see him push her? This ain't a case of everyday oblivion. He's surrounded by hundreds of people next to those stairs. I'm crying, bro. Riley's concerned, and her dad tells her that the girl was just drunk and we should give her some air. Then he says that they should go outside for some odd reason, and Riley is immediately suspicious. Ain't no getting through that. What? Riley's favorite song? Back to the concert. Now it's time for a surprise guest named Parker.
Everybody scream, Parker!
This shit just doesn't feel real. Then a platform conveniently raises right next to Cooper and Riley. He totally looks completely normal right here. Please, this isn't gonna work.
Look at the stage where that guy came out. I wonder what's down there. We should climb down and see where it leads. It looks really cool.
Dude, he truly thought this was a good idea, and now Riley definitely knows something is going on. Wouldn't it be incredibly dangerous for him to even try this anyways? Because it's on like a automatic switch or something. Like, something like that could squish him, right? He decides he's gonna go back to the shirt guy, while Riley continues to enjoy the concert. Jamie says he has to run to storage for more shirts, and Cooper volunteers himself to accompany him to an employee-only zone, and Jamie just agrees. The way they filmed this is like they really wanted you to see the obvious. So Cooper's a firefighter and super strong.
Bro, you're strong.
Jamie is a professional Cooper glazer at this point. Oh, and during this, Cooper swiped his badge. Cooper naturally brings up the butcher to see what's known as of right now. Turns out, Jamie has somewhat of a fascination with the butcher, and shows Cooper some of his handiwork. And here he is giving away more sensitive info.
All the employees of the arena, they gave us a code to say in each section of the arena in case we got stopped by police.
God, how does that even... So the code word is Hamilton in case someone is spotted. Then he hands him a box cutter, and this is supposed to be unsettling because we know who the butcher is. But the more terrifying thing is, he handed it to him blade first. And why did he even need Cooper to hold it in the first place? Free t-shirt. And now they're best buddies. So now Cooper is testing the badge to see where he can get into. He starts listening in on a briefing, and the life of a victim is being discussed. Then they talk strategy. Get the target alone, away from innocents, as quickly as possible. Two more SWAT guys come in behind Cooper, and he decides to just walk through the group and pretends to grab a coffee. He's asked for sugar, and he uses his common sense to guess that it would be in the cabinet below. Even offers donuts. Then walks straight back through and even lifts a walkie-talkie. I want to talk about this sequence specifically. because this is absolutely the second most unbelievable part of this story. It doesn't matter if they thought he was an employee. It doesn't matter if he had access. This is some top secret shit that civilians shouldn't know about. They could have been talking about anything, but they run the risk of letting just some guy hear something he's not supposed to hear. Talk about hiding in plain sight. They don't have to assume he's the guy they're looking for, but dude, I would not feel safe in this arena if they're just letting everyone do whatever the fuck. This lady again. She wants to talk about the girls getting along and he kinda don't give a fuck and is trying to get out of there, but she's kind of a Karen. Putting hands on people she has no business putting hands on. And right in front of the cops, no less. Distraction! It's the elderly lady from before. He's staring pretty intensely at her. And intensity broken. He offers a pizza hangout for the girls, just to leave. Cooper is back in his seat, listening to the walkie. Apparently the guy that got tackled earlier was some other criminal with lesser charges, that panicked seeing all the cops. We now get a rundown of more descriptions, which is another reason why I don't take this movie seriously. There's no way there's a manhunt, you're surrounding the entire building, and you don't even know what your target looks like. These descriptions are of people that just happen to have been near where victims were found. One of the descriptions included African American males. Please be serious. But another one of the descriptions hit the nail on the head, so there's still hope. Never mind. Then he hears that they're going after someone on the south side of the stadium, so he checks the map. He comes up with another excuse to leave Riley, but she's getting a bit upset. He says it's the last time and everything is fine. He even gives the location of where they should meet in case of emergency. He decides that he's gonna cause a scene, but they're already on to him.
He's going to try to cause a panic.
It's reported that women and children are the only ones allowed to leave if he causes chaos. Plan B. Okay, seriously, these shots are making me busy. Genuine question. If you see glass containers in a bubbling hot fryer, why would you put your face over it? Yeah, that doesn't end well. Anywho, he decides to go to the roof where this guy has the right attitude about this.
What the hell are you doing out here?
And action.
Oh, sorry. I just needed some air. There was an accident in the kitchen. A friend got burned.
Amazing. Oscar-worthy, standing ovation. He uses the code given to him to confirm that he's an employee, but to double check, guard 1 asks for a card. Is it me, or does this look like a generic business card? Cooper now asks about the older woman he saw before, and turns out she's a profiler. Has a great track record. He has beef with old ladies, it seems. Riley catches up with her dad, and she says he's been weird all day, and asks if he wants to go home. He says no and blames Jody's mom. Riley's made new friends, so it's okay. She just wants to spend the concert with her dad. He is most definitely on edge. Riley says she hopes to get picked for the Dreamer Girl song because she gets to go backstage and go on stage with Lady Raven. Convenient. This was actually insane of him. He starts chopping it up, pun not intended, with a guy that seems to work behind the scenes, played by Mr. Shyamalan himself. Fun fact, in the movie, he plays the uncle to Lady Raven, but in real life, that is actually his daughter, and she is in fact a music artist. Cooper introduces himself and comes up with the story that Riley had leukemia, and she doesn't like to talk about it because she felt cursed.
Recovered from having leukemia. Oh no, it's okay now. It's just tough road for that little one.
Dude. Uncle asks about their seats. The cops are picking another suspect out of the crowd, but this time dangerously close to Cooper, which sets him on edge. But it's just the uncle. She's been chosen as the Dreamer Girl. Backstage access escape route, here we come.
We should talk with him.
It's all good, he's with us.
Nah, bro had a point. He matches the general description that was given to them in the first place. You giving them permission to go on stage doesn't make him less of a suspect. Or the fact that she had leukemia. The stage manager lady gives Riley the rundown and tells her it's just about having fun. Riley is a bit nervous, but is reassured. Oop, the profiler is here. We watch Riley do her thing on stage, and Jody and her daughter are in disbelief, and someone is a little angry.
Your daughter's never gonna forget today.
Foreshadowing. What's crazy is, if he would have just been cool, I feel like they wouldn't have found him. The profiler tells them to let her know if anyone tries to get backstage. Ooh, convenient. Riley sees her dad going missing again and finds him taking care of a girl that was about to faint. Makes him look like a total saint, so no one suspects anything.
He's a gem. Can we keep him? He's really good with them.
Now they just enjoy the encore from behind the stage. We are observing. Apparently, Lady Raven needs an inhaler, and this guy, the Thinker, is lactose intolerant. This wasn't as important as it was made out to be, I don't think.
What is that move?
He gets confirmation that he can go out the back, and they continue to watch the performance. Alright, they're in the backstage hallway where the performers are gathering up in the dressing rooms, and the cops are patrolling, of course. There seems to be a surveillance room not far from where Cooper and Riley are standing. This man here is a total diva, but he's nice to the fans and he has eyes for a certain someone. Cooper takes another listen to the radio, and the profiler says that they will be stopping every single male in attendance. The Butcher has to be one of them. The stage manager lady comes back, tells them that Lady Raven wants to thank them, hands them some free merch, and directs them towards the exit, which is blocked by a group of SWAT guys. She lets them know that they'll be questioned a bit, but it's just for safety. Cooper is visibly nervous. The only people allowed through without question are Lady Raven and her close group. Riley's gushing about her new swag, but Cooper cannot focus because he's all but sweating about getting caught. He watches Lady Raven walk into the surveillance room, and suddenly he has Superman hearing. Because how do you hear actual whispering from down the hallway? So turns out Lady Raven was working with the cops to catch the Butcher, and they have to sift through 3,000 men to find him. This man does not look sane at all. Lady Raven comes to chat with Riley and her dad. Cooper whispers to Lady Raven that he would like to speak with her alone about Riley's condition. And this is where everything basically goes to shit, and she has no one to blame but herself. She was just told that there were 3,000 men, and one of them could be the Butcher. This guy matches the profile of white male in 30s with teenage child, and she decided to trust him anyways? Like, why? You know there's an incredibly dangerous guy at one of your shows, but you're trusting strangers willy-nilly? Where's your own personal security at? Anywho, they talk about how great Riley is, and then he says something weird about carbon monoxide. How dangerous it is in small spaces. She's confused, but he just lays out all the cards. He reveals himself as the Butcher too, and shows her his current captive on his phone. From here on out, Cooper just kinda crashes out, honestly. He lets her know that he can end his captive's life in mere minutes, from where he's standing, if he's caught. Or she could sneak him out to safety and he'll let him go. Honestly, I hate to say it, but bro would have had to been collateral, because I would have called a scene. Yeah, he said he was gonna off him, but that was the plan anyways. The Butcher is right there, and I'm surrounded by hundreds of cops and SWAT team members. I would have been loud. But there's 50 minutes left in the movie, so that clearly didn't happen. Then on top of that, Cooper humanizes the trapped guy more by giving his name, age, and interests. This works as the police are doing as they were told, checking every single male-presenting person that was at that concert. Unfortunately, the guy they need is getting away because he was auto-cleared. Riley is having the time of her life in the limo, but there's obvious tension between these two. Lady Raven then pulls a tiny power move by asking Riley if she could come over to their house. Like Riley, the biggest fan ever, is gonna say no. This is like every Stan's dream. Riley calls her mom and tells her the great news, and Cooper pulls out his phone as a little reminder. To their home they go. When they pull up, they're greeted by Riley's mom, Rachel, and her brother. Riley rushes up and tells her mom that Dad has been acting weird lately, but we'll explain later. Lady Raven tells her driver to wait outside, and Riley introduces her to her family. They go inside, and when she's left alone with Cooper, the vibe is kinda sinister. He makes it clear to Lady Raven that if she says anything about who he is, bro is done for, and that he's in control here. Little does he know, the minute that she drove to his house, there was a power shift. So now they're having pie because Riley got good grades, and Lady Raven compliments Rachel's necklace. They start discussing the concert, and she mentions how today's concert was unusual. The Butcher was mentioned. Rachel seems like she doesn't have much to say about him, and Lady Raven talks about how she knew that he was showing up to the concert via a torn receipt found in a fake house. They just knew it was him, but didn't understand why he was going. He hasn't been caught, and the whole description we have is white male in 30s or 40s and drives a dark colored car, maybe in a position of authority. Speculated as an organized offender because of the precise state of the crime scenes. Most likely has mommy issues. But as soon as that's brought up, Cooper says that she has to go in the most unsettling and polite way possible. Lady Raven says she can play a quick song just to stall and invites Riley to join her. While doing so, she stashes Riley's phone and starts playing. This man just doesn't give a fuck about being sneaky anymore, clearly. After the song's over, she suggests a selfie, and when Riley can't find her phone, Lady Raven grabs Cooper's. He asked for it back, politely, the first time. She asks where the bathroom is and locks herself in. Cooper is now freaking out and his family is scared and confused as he bangs on the door. Lady Raven is now talking to Spencer, the abductee, asking for any info that could identify where he is. He remembers a broken lion statue and the house that he's trapped in having a blue door. Cooper is majorly pissed and can hear her talking to someone.
Who are you talking to?
She goes live on a social media site and gives the description that Spencer gave her to the fans because someone would have to know. Someone responds that they know what she's talking about, and she's instructed to get some adults and get to the house, and then tells her driver to call the cops. Cooper is like seconds away from breaking down the door.
Open the goddamn door!
His phone locks, and Lady Raven then tells the family about Cooper's secret identity. Suddenly, there's a bunch of crashing and glass breaking. Cooper is telling them to go upstairs, then he comes to unlock the bathroom door. He's not a happy camper. He demands all the phones in her possession and asks who she was talking to. He unlocks his phone, and mildly impressed, he sees that Spencer has escaped. He then tells her that they're leaving and that his hand will remain on her shoulder at all times. He grabs a bag from a hole in the wall. Then they get in his wife's car, and it's important to note that it's white. They were right about the car being dark colored. It's Aurora Black specifically. He hands her some zip ties and politely asks her to put them on. She then comes up with the idea to pretend to be his mother because that's going to work. You know, push his buttons, tap into that trauma.
Listen when you're told.
I know what you're doing.
He's just not buying into it though, and says he will simply off himself after he stops the monster. She then mentions the GPS on her phone and he says he'll just toss it. He opens the garage door and sees his family blocking the driveway. He realizes that there's a tree outside of Riley's room where he locked them in. He never saw it through the monster's lens. He never let the two lives touch. Riley's horrified, Cooper's stunned. Lady Raven snuck out. Cooper then gets himself out and switches back into family man mode, giving advice and whatnot like things are gonna be regular. Boom! Cops and SWAT pulling up. The profiler is happy as hell to finally get him. Cooper is just getting the house in order, while the profiler orders them to get the family out of there. In they go. A guy with a southern accent tells Lady Raven's driver that he's replacing him. Driver guy complies. Cooper has escaped through a tunnel that leads into the neighbor's backyard. The limo stops a ways away from the house. The new driver gets out and opens the back door. Surprise! Yes, Cooper's a magician now. They're now going to one of his safe houses, and we get a little peek into why Cooper does what he does. He doesn't like people who have it all together. It feels false. He felt that urge when he saw Lady Raven behind the curtain on stage, because she was seen as whole to him. Lady Raven scoops over and stretches to the window button to roll it down. When she succeeds, she tells a group of people to call the cops. They can tell something's wrong. Cooper rolls up the window, but it's too late. Attention has been drawn. The fans have surrounded the vehicle. Lady Raven eventually breaks the bar that she's shackled to and gets free. Cooper spreads the tour merch on the front seat and gets an idea. Guys, look me in my face and tell me this isn't the most obvious and suspicious looking person standing out there. Does he not immediately draw attention? Also, follow-up question. How did he even get out of the car when this bitch is surrounded? SWAT is back and tells the civilians to step away from the car. They fire at the tires and instruct who they think is Cooper to step out of the vehicle. They fire at the head when he doesn't comply, and Cooper makes his escape. Now, there was a deleted scene right around this area that I think would have made the movie better in my opinion, but also would have ruined the whole not showing, only hinting thing that was going on. I didn't like that way, to be honest, because I would have connected him more to his butcher side. I would have been more on edge if I saw what he's done. I understand why it's shown that way though, because we as the audience just see him as a regular guy, even though we know who he is. He's still unsuspecting. Spencer is free, and the cops are checking out everything, including the building with the blue door. Rachel asks the profiler about her lectures. Cue close-ups of Cooper being a regular family man and productive member of society. Then the profiler tells Rachel her children are being taken care of and the offer still stands. She declines and says she doesn't want to be around people. The profiler says there will be cruisers out front for security. Then we see the most cartoony kidnapping ever. Rachel starts warming a kettle on the stove when... surprise! Yeah, he's in there. He points out the way she stands and how she does that all the time. They just know so much about each other. Even when they don't know. She tries to say it's all just a big mistake, but he's not having any of that. He doesn't let the two lives touch, however. So how could they have possibly figured him out? Rachel is now absolutely horrified. He now understands that maybe Rachel had something to do with this. The late nights and the jewelry made her suspicious, but it didn't add up completely. Why, you may ask?
The smell of cleaning fluid on your clothes. Not the type that the firehouse, the type you smell at hospitals.
He kinda just, it is what it is at that revelation, and starts taking off his shirt. I still kinda don't know why. She then says it's the way she heard him lie to a neighbor once, and was way too believable, especially just off the dome. Cooper is now up with a weapon and gives a rundown on her thought process. She followed him to a particular safe house that he goes to just to think, not act. And she revisited alone, broke in, and snooped. There was nothing there, but she harbored a nervous feeling, and left the receipt for the concert tickets. Then she ran to a payphone to report him and tore the receipt to make it look like a mistake. Cooper says he saw the cops questioning the neighbors. He didn't know what about, but he never went back. Cooper is not okay. They know that, but he says they could have managed. Rachel then brings up the pie for Riley and asks to finish it because today was supposed to be a good day. He is shaking like a newborn baby deer grabbing the plates. He goes to sit back at the table and Rachel takes a bite ever so slowly. Cooper says eating that pie isn't much of a delay because he eats quick and rage is coursing through him. A brand new feeling for him. He then describes how he feels with his victims and how it strangely brings him peace. But right now, he feels nothing but rage towards her. He feels out of control. But he's so angry because he won't see his kids ever again. He won't watch them grow up. He's gonna do what white men with families that aren't okay usually do and take her and himself out. The kettle whistles and Cooper has a bit of a realization. She found his bag and he's been drugged with his own stuff. He gets up to handle business but then starts to hallucinate his mother standing in an open doorway. It's a whole thing. He stumbles towards her when... Turns out bro has the crackhead strength because this does next to nothing. It takes about 4 tasers to totally subdue him. Walk of shame time. And they somehow got his shirt back on.
Don't shoot him!
Shush, Rachel. He's a menace to society. You see how he's still surrounded, by the way? Remember this. So they brought the kids back and Riley immediately tackles her dad in a hug. These eyes have the look of vengeance. They put him in the back of the SWAT truck and take him away. Everything settled up, right? No. Nah, not at all. Because look at this. Look at this buffoonery. Bro done freed himself. Oh, and we get an end credit scene. Remember the comedic relief guy, Jamie? This is him finding out that he gave all that info to the butcher.
I ain't talking to nobody at work no more. I ain't talking to nobody. Nobody. Khadijah!
I think this is very much a movie at the end of the day. I watched it again for this video and I laughed more than I did the first time. The casting was great though. Josh Hartnett was a great pick because he really does look like a guy who goes to PTA meetings and mows the lawn on Saturdays. Doesn't fit the typical creepy guy look. The actresses for Riley and Rachel were great too. This is how someone in her position would act. I'm tired of seeing folks act like they're thinking one step ahead of the danger or playing it cool not to alarm them. Your life is literally in the hands of a man that's not all there. Plan, but we all know you're sweating. Riley was the best in the whole movie because she clocked Cooper as soon as he left for the 3rd time. Like, ain't no way you needed to leave all those times. This is supposed to be a bonding experience and you're acting like you don't want to be here. Nope, something is clearly off. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments below. Coco Cosmos. Oh.